what's up? My name's Samuel Leeds and I want to introduce you to a guy called Josh. Josh is absolutely smashing it in property, but his backstory is very, very interesting. I think you're going to find this really, really, really inspiring. He's doing rent-to-rent, deal sourcing. Don't forget, if you enjoy my videos, smash the like button, subscribe, and enjoy. Josh, firstly, thanks so much for coming down to my house.
No, thank you for having me, mate.
So this year has been an absolutely transformational year for you on the property side.
Crazy.
What's happened?
Crazy. So, start of this year, start of this year was a bit of a rocky start. Tried to scramble to get deals done, getting things set up. Had a few things go wrong regarding business partners and stuff like that on the way. And then now, over the last few months, partnered with a guy called Ed Harding, my new business partner. Can't say enough good things about that guy. And from there, we've just absolutely hit the ground running.
So the last year, you've become financially free in property.
Yes.
You've gone through the Samuel 365, you've become part of the community, but it wasn't always rosy for you.
No.
Your background is very colourful. So talk to me a little bit about where you were, say, 5 years ago.
So 5 years ago, I went through a pretty bad patch before, well, probably longer than 5 years ago, maybe start 7. Just before my first little girl was born, I spent a very bad year. Lived on my own since I was about 16. Lived in hostels and lived with my Auntie Tracy for a bit. And then from about 17, 18, I just went through a really bad year of just drugs all the time. 4 or 5 days with no sleep. It just got really, really bad. And yeah, my little girl came along, and that was it. Stopped it dead. Then, being the immature teenager still at that time, I know people like to think they're adults at that time, you're really not. I went into drug dealing thinking that'd be clever, thinking that could make me some money. And that got a bit sticky. I ended up getting pulled over by the police, not far from where I used to store everything, very close to going to jail. And it was at that point I just thought, what the fuck are you doing? I've got a child there. No amount of money on the planet is worth being taken away from her and being locked away. So I stopped that, and then I went back into, well, I was chefing at the time, I went there, and I stood in the kitchen one day, and I was just like, I'm earning £350 this week for 45 hours or more. I used to earn this in an hour, so that really pushed me into entrepreneur for something for yourself.
So you were a drug dealer making great money, but obviously it's illegal. But then after making that kind of money, it's hard to get a job because it's like...
Nothing's good enough.
Right.
It's not good enough.
So now you're hungry, but you know that... Tell me about the time the police pulled you over. What happened?
So I was driving. I had the mother of my kids in the car with me at the time. We were driving to go to what I called my safe house at the time. So that was where we used to keep everything. I had a runner. It was his house. That's where he kept everything. So I was driving there. The car wasn't insured to me, and I didn't have a driving license at the time. Again, absolute idiot. So it was funny actually, because I got pulled. I was at my parents' house, and me and my dad were talking about me not having a license. He's like, "You're going to get caught, you soon." As I come out of my parents, I've turned off to go to a main road. The police car coming down. I had loads of time to pull out. Could have pulled out, but I didn't because I didn't want it behind me. They flashed me out, pulled off. I said to my missus at the time, "So we're going to get pulled over in a minute." They let me get through the dual carriageway. Boom, pull me over. As I got out of the car, she had to turn my phone off. And then, they searched me down. Just in case anything came through. Anything incriminating.
Any orders?
Yep. And that was it. Then I was just like, do you know what? This was too close. This is too close for comfort.
Yeah, because you could have gone to prison.
Yeah, for a long time. If I'd have got to the safe house and filled my car up with what I was picking up for that day, I'd have been in jail for a long time.
It's just not worth it, is it?
Not at all.
I'd rather...
no amount of money on this planet that is worth... I would rather be broke than be poor. I'd rather be poor.
Yeah.
100% every time now.
So background then, I mean, growing up, what was your childhood like?
Brilliant. Childhood was good. Had a brilliant childhood. My mum and dad are amazing. It's just, as teenagers, just did not get on with my dad. We clashed a lot. Yeah. He admits now he was a bit of a dick when we were growing up. He openly admits to that now. But there's things that caused him to be like that. Like he's got bad back problems, depression, things like that. So we sort of understood it, but we just didn't get on at all, and we were fighting and stuff. So I made the decision to leave home at 16. From there, went and lived with my Auntie Tracy for a little bit. And then from that, I went to stay in hostels, and then from there came the drugs.
How old were you when you had your first kid?
18.
18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That must have really changed things.
That made me, well, it made me grow up a lot. Not enough to not sell, it should have made me enough to grow up enough not to sell drugs, but apparently it didn't. So, it made me grow up a lot when when there's someone else there that's now dependent on you, and you've got all that responsibility. You have to step up to the plate.
So after being an entrepreneur as a drug dealer, and then realising you can't do this anymore, you almost went to prison.
Yeah.
You then got a job as a chef, and you thought, I can't do this because there's not enough money.
Well, I chefed for 7 years.
Oh, for 7 years?
I was chefing for 7 years.
How did you feel chefing for 7 years? Were you happy?
No. I hated it. I couldn't look after myself. If I showed you pictures of what I looked like when I was chefing compared to how I look now, I look a different person.
Right.
Because you just can't look after yourself. So I used to work 14, 16-hour shifts. I'd do the busiest days of the year. At the end of my chefing career, I was sous chef, head chef. I used to work with a fantastic head chef, guy called Hugh. Brilliant head chef. I still talk to him now. He had, where I was working, he ended up having to go over to Ireland to look after his mum at the time. When I was running the kitchen, sucked all the passion out of chefing for me, because I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it, but it sucked the passion out of it for me.
When did you start getting involved with investing? I know you got involved with foreign exchange, and you made some money, and then you lost some money. When was that?
That was while I was chefing and at university. So I went to uni to study aerospace engineering. I did 2 years of that.
Yeah.
I did network marketing while I was doing it, and it was the network marketing that was like, don't want to work for anybody else. I really haven't, obviously what I'd done previous, and then to that, and obviously started making good money.
Why did you go to university?
Because I wanted a degree behind me. I just wanted a degree to fall back on in case anything happened.
Yeah.
I thought, as long as I've got a degree to fall back onto, I can get a well-paid job.
And you were studying engineering and also business?
Yeah, so I did 2 years of aerospace, dropped out of that, and then I thought, right, because I want to do business work for myself, I'll go back and do a business degree.
How was business at university?
Shit.
It was not good?
No, good. I wouldn't pay for it, no. I'd rather...
How long did you stick it?
I did 2 months.
2 months?
2 months, something like that.
Did you have to pay for a year up front, or?
Yep, had to pay for the year up
Did you
front.
get the money back?
No.
So you paid for an entire year of university. How much did that cost?
It's like $9,000 for the year.
9 grand. You did 2 months and it was rubbish. You quit. Didn't get a refund.
No. You don't get a refund for
a university.
No, it doesn't happen.
For some reason, no one ever hates on uni. Like people say about me, oh, not everyone succeeds if you go through Samuel's training. It's like, well, of course, that's the case with most people do if they go through.
Not everyone succeeds that go to uni.
But what happened at you? What was it like a business? I want to go to business uni, even just for a day, and find out what it's like.
You're going to go sit in a lecture hall and you're going to listen to somebody sit there and lecture you on business that have never run a business themselves in their life before. They've got nothing that actually qualifies them to be able to sit and teach you about business, and they aren't where I want to be in life, so they're not qualified for me to learn anything from. They're going to be teaching you from a textbook. I mean, there may be some tutors out there that have had it. My tutors personally, they've never had a business in their life, then they're teaching from a textbook. So I actually sat there one day, and it's the same, it's cliched, I know a lot of people say it, but it's like, I don't want to be anything like you. You're not qualified to teach me. You've never run a business, so why am I sat here listening to you?
Yeah.
I won't take advice from anybody that isn't doing better than me in life. If you're not doing better than me in life, don't even give me your advice, because I'm not taking it.
Yeah. So after all this, university, dropping out of uni, doing all right at Forex, but then how did you lose your money at Forex?
Silly mistake. So it was during chefing as well. I placed a trade on Bitcoin that actually built me up such a big account.
Right.
Placed a trade on Bitcoin in the morning while I was at work, and I checked it at dinner time, and it was at 19 grand. So it's like, right, close that off straight away. Built the account up then from trading other things to about 21, 22 grand. And then I got really greedy because I thought, right, I'm really good at this now. Got really greedy, put big lot sizes on, no stop loss, fell asleep, woke up in the morning to literally a couple of £100 left in my account.
Ouch.
That really was like, right.
So you lost everything?
Yeah, that was like, discipline your disappointments here. Like
Times 10,
yeah,
right?
Don't cry over spilt milk, like just...
When did this happen, last year?
No, this was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
About 3 years ago. It wasn't long before, because I stopped all that. This is when I started looking into property, because I was like, I need something. I need to run a business. Property is what I want to do. Let's see if I can find something.
Yeah. What made you want to do a property business? Because you'd done Forex, network marketing, you'd done a job chefing, you'd done drug dealing, you'd gone to university. Nothing was like working out really. Everything, you might have had a bit of success for a little while and then it didn't work out. You know, why did you choose property and how were you feeling? Where were you at this point? Did you feel like a failure or did you know that you were going to succeed? Like, where were you at?
You always have the feeling of like you're a failure or you constantly doubt yourself. Because I do it now, even now I still doubt my own abilities, doubt myself. But it was like, I just had that determination so much that I didn't want to work for anybody. I didn't want to live that life of going to work and being told when to eat, sleep, shit. All of that, I can't do it. I do not deal very well with being told what to do or being dictated over. So for me, it just made sense. Like, I just needed to find something, and I don't want to go to work and earn somebody else money.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit there and make them rich and not myself. I want to provide the best life I can for my children. And at the end of the day, generational wealth, their kids, not have to worry. Like, that's what the aim is. And I've always had that attitude about me. Like, I've always been very money motivated. If any of my family will say, I'm very, very money motivated. So I can be quite high functioning, like ridiculously long days and stuff. It's just, I've got that hunger and ambition that I know I'm meant. It sounds silly, but I'm meant to do more than just go and work for somebody else for 40 hours a day for 40 years, for the next 40 years of my life, to then retire on 40% to live out 4 years of the good life. It's not for me, because again, people retire and that's when they usually die as well.
Yeah.
Not long after retirement, they die, and it's because you stop using everything.
How did you do in school?
Did very well in school.
Did you?
Yeah.
Because interesting in school, because what you're talking about now about your desire to want to win and be an entrepreneur, it's really a fire.
Yeah.
And some people have that fire and some people don't. And it's hard to give people the fire.
I'd never be happy. But if I went and got a job now, it makes me feel sick actually thinking about going and getting a job now. That actually makes me feel nauseous. But if I went and got a job now and actually went and worked, I'd never be happy again in a day in my life.
Yeah.
Never would be.
Okay, so why property?
Property for me it's never going anywhere. I've always had an interest in it, whether it be the architecture, like when going around on holiday as younger and just being like looking at the buildings and stuff and loving the way they're designed and things. I've just always had a fascination with property and wanting to get into it, and I know there's good money to be made. The property market's never going anywhere. It's as safe as houses.
Yeah. So you then started watching my YouTube videos?
Yeah.
Binge watched my videos?
I didn't watch anything else. You were my TV. You were my TV, that was it. I used to just sit there 4 hours at night time going through all of your videos. Like, I was watching from Glenn, and then when Anthony, so I watched all of their eviction, Anthony and James Armstrong, or I watched their evictions, and I was like, right. And I remember, like 2-3 years ago actually, when you were doing James Armstrong's winners on a Wednesday, and I was like, I'm going to be on that one day. Yeah. One day I'll be sat there with him.
You're from Blackpool, you live in Blackpool. What did you think when I did the Financial Freedom Challenge in Blackpool and went and helped Glenn become financially free in a week in your hometown?
I was gutted that I'd missed out, because I was like, damn, why couldn't you have done that with me?
That could have been me.
Yeah, but it gave me that affirmation that you're not a bullshitter. You are doing what you say you're doing. The fact that you was willing to come to his house and help him and get him to that point, I was like, brilliant, because I'd only just started watching you at that point. And then seeing you do that with Glenn, I was like, this guy's amazing. He's actually brilliant. He's gone and helped him turn himself around. Obviously, Glenn was going through a bit of trouble at the time. And I was like, right, brilliant. It just confirmed that it is doable. You can do this with the right training. Yeah. So I was like, right, I'm just going to have to keep watching him now. And kept watching everything.
So you binge watched me for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then you decided, right, I need to stop watching YouTube videos, I need to actually do it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people message me and say, can you come to my house? Can you come to my house? And they want me to go and live with them for a week. Yeah. You decided to actually come to my house.
Yeah, because...
so talk to me about that.
Well, I did the same thing other people did. You sat there and like, oh, why can't Samuel come do that with me? I wish Samuel had come to my house and do that with me. And I'm like, well, what, you sat there feeling sorry for yourself, mate? No one's going to bring it to you. No one's going to come and hand you this on a silver platter. If you want it, go get it. Yeah. So that was it then. I was like, do you know what? No more course junkying. I did it a lot because I wanted to be able to set up, when I set up in business, I wanted to be able to have every understanding that I possibly could. So I never got to the point where, obviously you're still learning now, you don't know what you don't know. But I never wanted to get to a point where I'd be having a conversation with an investor and I'd not be able to answer a question that they have, or not be able to find a way around a problem that we're having. So I did spend a long time making sure I got my education first. But it was becoming course junkie. That you have to be careful that you don't spend too much time just educating yourself and never taking any action on it, because then that education's pointless.
Yeah.
So
you did some online training as well. You
Yeah.
joined the Samuel 365.
Yeah.
How was that?
brilliant. Honestly can't say enough good things about.
You then came down to my house. What happened when you came to my house for the disco? You invested in that. How much did you have to invest?
It was £500.
Right, £500 to come to my house,
Yeah.
and I'll help you with your business plan. We'll spend a day together,
Yep.
talk a little bit about training and different packages. And we had a very interesting session at that point.
Yes.
Because, well, tell me what happened.
Well, you straight up just called me a pussy, and I was like, yeah, no, yeah, sound.
Why did I call you a pussy for?
Because I was being a pussy with my investors.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation, like, what are people struggling with? And I said to you, look, I'm struggling to get my investors to commit. They're not paying that fee. I can't get them to pay that fee. And you were straight up, and then you was like, right, tell me what, and I was telling you, he was like, right, you're being a pussy. I was like, yeah, I thought I was being a bit of a bitch, but I just needed a bit of confirmation on that.
Yeah.
So then we went through of how to approach it and what to say. And then from there, I've not had an issue since. That really, coming to that discovery day, sort of expedited everything from there, because the troubles that I was having, we managed to figure them out and solve them on the day.
Yeah.
And then I had a chat with Tony, and
Yeah.
Tony was like, so...
Who's my business mentor?
Yep, and he was like, so, what's your business? What do you do? And I'm telling him, and he's like, so it sounds like you're the Costco of deal sourcing then, yeah? I was like, right. He was like, you need to concentrate on one thing. He said, this is probably why you're having so many issues. And now, obviously, with the way the market's gone, we've switched up to just sourcing rent to rent and investing in rent to rent.
And your company now is called what?
We're called Prestige Sourcing.
Prestige Sourcing.
But we're actually rebranding at the moment.
Right.
So me and my business partner, obviously, because we're merging, both got our own companies, we're rebranding to Robinson and Hardins.
Yeah.
Moving forward. But yeah, so that's...
So you've gone on to have a very successful deal sourcing company.
Yep.
Where you're packaging and selling how many deals a month?
On average, 4 deals.
4 deals a month. That's one a week.
Yeah.
And how much on average are you charging for a fee?
We charge £3,000 plus VAT averagely, or 3%, whichever the greater value.
Right, so you're getting a few £1,000s a deal.
Yeah.
And you're doing about 1 a week. Yeah. You've also got multiple rent-to-rents. Yeah. How many rent-to-rents have you got?
We've got like 5 now. We've just taken another one on in Salford, so yeah, that make 5 now.
And what are your current rent-to-rents? What are they cash flowing? How much profit are you making a month?
The ones in Liverpool between 700 and 900 a month.
Very nice.
The one we've just taken on is actually, we're looking at between 2,500 and 5,000.
Wow.
A month profit.
So you're making, what on average, about?
Averagely about 4 or 5 grand a month.
4 or 5
With this
grand.
one that we bring on now, that could double it.
Right.
That could double it if we get it across the line and get it.
But even not including that.
But not including that.
4 or 5 grand a month coming in from your rent-to-rents.
Yep.
And then a few grand a week coming in from deal sourcing. I mean, that's some serious progress. You're also employing people now?
Yeah, we've got 2 members of staff just about to come on. We've just taken an office in Liverpool. We've just got all that set up. Now we're just bringing in 2 members of staff. Absolutely
incredible. So what would you say, what changed from being a YouTube junkie and watching YouTube videos from that stage to then actually we meet, you get plugged into Samuel 365, you start networking, and now suddenly you've got all these deals, you're making all this money. What would you say you're doing differently now to say a year or 2 ago when you still knew the crack?
Yeah.
You still watched the YouTube videos, you'd seen the documentaries. What are you doing different now than what you were doing a year or so ago?
Just taking action, literally taking action on the knowledge that I've gained. 2-3 years ago, it was just like, I was scared to take action on it more than anything, because I thought, oh, what if it goes wrong? What if it fucks up? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? And I was mentally talking myself out of it, mentally talking myself out of starting the business, and it was just like, right, worst that's going to happen is it fails. Just give it a go. The worst that could happen is it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, you find something else. So it's just like, right, go whole hog. My kids are my driving force behind everything. And obviously I want to provide them with the best possible life. So it was like, right, now's the time. I set up my business during the first lockdown. I procrastinated quite a lot. Didn't really do anything for that until the back end of the year. And then the start of this year, I was like, right, I've said this to myself every year, new year, let's go, let's get it going. And I just thought, right, this year, just get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done and get it going. And just haven't looked back since.
How do you think you've changed as a person? Because when you're doing deal sourcing and just generally when you're dealing in property, you'll know this after being in the business now for coming up to a year. Your reputation and ethics, integrity is a massive, massive part of the business. And if you're
Huge.
and if you're in the community and you haven't got integrity, or if you cut corners, it will really ruin your reputation.
Oh, yeah,
and it will ruin your business.
Yeah.
Whereas a few years ago, you were a drug dealer, right? Which I imagine, I'm not judging, but I imagine doing something that's illegal, and ethics and integrity is a little different. So how do you feel you've changed as a person, and why have you changed?
I think I changed now because my attitude towards it is very different. I'm quite anti all of that now, very anti all of that.
Well, you hate drugs now.
Yeah, I'm really not. Just because I've seen what it does to people as well, and I've seen the path that it's taken people down, and for me, it's just no, not anymore. Not a fan. I can't stand it. So I just tend to steer clear away from that. I don't even drink really anymore either. Very rare I have a drink. But it's come from because of all of that.
Yeah.
And now, like, you have to operate as essentially, but actually be a decent, upstanding member of the community as well. Whereas when you're pilfering that into you're not aiding anything, you're not helping anything. And now being in property, your integrity has to change. It's the person that you develop into.
Yeah.
Making sure that you're looking after people. So I say to people all the time, like some of my investors, some of them have got hundreds of thousands to play with. Some of them have got 50 grand that they've worked the last 5 years. They worked their arse off to save that money up. So you have to be thinking of these people all the time.
Yeah.
You have to present the correct numbers. You can't, at the end of the day, your reputation, Alistair's said it before as well, you can spend years building up your reputation, but it can be destroyed in one foul swoop, in one bad deal, and it gets around. So you have to operate with that. Your integrity has to be there. You have to have them in mind, because you have to put yourself in their shoes. Would you like that happening to you? Would you look at a deal? Would you be happy with somebody overinflating numbers and trying to get you to invest in a bad deal or invest money with you when you know the money's going to go, you're going to lose it? Me personally, I wouldn't sleep at night. I say this to my investors. If I lost them or they lost money because of me, I wouldn't sleep at night.
And I think as well, it's in business, money follows value. As long as you're doing, as long as you're operating legally, morally, and ethically.
Yeah.
If you add value to an investor, and I've seen this happening within the Samuel 365 community loads, you'll pass a deal to somebody, the investor will buy it, the deal goes great, and then that investor will start telling everybody about you. Yep. And it's almost like the better your service is, the better you are, the more professional you are, the more money you'll make anyway.
Yeah.
So trying to cut corners, you might make a quick buck on one deal, but then it's just going to lose your money in the long run.
That's it.
Also as well, I think, and you've heard me say this a million times, but I think environment's really important. I think who you're around is who you'll become. How has your environment changed over the last year?
Well, I used to hang around with absolute delinquents and degenerates, but there was just no life ambition at all. It was a case of, right, let's get what we can get together to go buy our drugs for this night, for this party, and things like that. Now, I am a massive believer in the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with, you will become the 6. Like, you are the makeup of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. So if you're spending all your time with bums and knout doers, I will guarantee you right now, you'll be the 6th, because I was.
Yeah.
I was the 6th. You spend your time with the right people of where you want to be, you'll become the 6th.
Yeah.
So I'm slowly getting to that point now. Like, so obviously, surround myself with the likes of people like you. Anybody that is doing better than me in life are the people that I want to be around.
Yeah.
And then you're constantly learning. Constantly learning. Like, for me, every day, I always say it all the time, every day is a school day. You don't know what you don't know. So as long as you're constantly educating and making sure you're around these people, your environment is massive. So like, just silly things like make sure you're around the right people. But even like the difference between me working at home and working in the office now, I'm more efficient in the office. At home, there's a lot more distractions. There's a lot more chance to procrastinate. You could just be, because you're working from home, you're like, oh, actually, I need to go do this bit of shopping. I'll nip off for an hour and do that. Then you've just lost an hour of your business day. And then it's like, oh, I just need to go to the gym, actually. I'll go now. Well, it's not busy. Then you've just lost another 2 hours. And I was finding myself doing that as well. So like, being around the right people and being in the right environment is key to make
and your business partner as well now, Ed,
yes.
who, I know your credit and say has been a massive help, and also you've been on pretty much every week. I know sometimes you're out doing deals, but you're on the 365 mastermind community on Zoom. You come into the events, you've been on the tours, and I think that when you're in that energy, when you're in that space, you function at a different level. I don't know what you think about that.
Yes, you do. You are. I think the right way of describing it, being around you rubs off because you're so a million miles an hour with everything. It rubs off because you're like, right, well, Samuel's doing all this. For me to be able to get to that, I need to be more like what he's doing, or everybody else around, like Ricky, Anthony, David Taylor, Jay Armstrong. They're all at a million miles an hour because it's like there's no point waiting for tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. If you say I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. It never comes.
Does it ever feel strange that now a lot of your peers and people that you know in real life as acquaintances, friends, business contacts, you used to watch almost on TV? Is that ever a strange feeling?
Yeah, it's weird. The first time I met you I was like, oh, fucking hell, holy crap, there he is. First, I think that were in person, it was your house.
Yeah,
the first time I met you in person.
When I called you a pussy?
Yeah, when you called me a pussy. I was like, yeah, sweet. But yeah, I was like, yeah. It made me quite nervous to meet you the first time. I don't know why, but I think it's because I'd watched you so much.
Yeah, when you've seen someone on screen for so long and you've not met them in person, you think, oh, what are they going to be like? And what's...
you do.
But you, not just me, you've been watching people like Anthony and Ricky on The Eviction, all these winners on a Wednesday, people that you've been seeing now. Suddenly you're like, oh, hey, and you've seen them in real life.
Yeah.
Must be quite a strange feeling.
Yeah, but it can be like Ricky Mandel. I actually started co-sourcing with him when I first started.
Wow.
I'd never met him face to face or seen him face to face until the rent to rent that I came to bought into. It is so strange when you meet these people face to face, and that it is strange. But then obviously when you talk to them, you're just another normal person.
Yeah.
And there's no difference between you and myself being able to get to where you are.
How did you choose your... I know you went through the deal finding extravaganza training.
Yeah.
Where we talk a lot about finding your patch.
Yeah.
You're living in Blackpool. Where are your deals? How did you find your patch? Talk to me a little bit about that.
It was accidental. I never just went, right, that's going to be my patch. It was actually more because we got Liverpool's essentially is my main operation base. We do all across the northwest and the whole of the UK, but predominantly it's northwest Liverpool.
Yeah.
And that more came because we started looking at deals there, then we got our management company introduced to us.
Yeah.
And everything just started falling into place and it made more sense. And like my management company, the lady that runs that, honestly, sometimes she's like my second mother, the way she is with me. She's such a nice lady. I can't say enough good things about her either. And like she helps us so much and helped us so much at the beginning. So it was like, right, we've just sort of fallen into this patch. And it's just snowballed from there. It works really well. It's a great area to invest in. There's so much regeneration going on. So we just ended up, it was like, right, this is our base of operation.
That's great. So Liverpool main patch, northwest. Is that where you have your rent to rent and also where you're sourcing deals for the people as well then?
Yes.
Great. And I think it makes sense to have a patch because when you have a power team in place like you've built up and you've got a management company, you've got builders. I know you've got a lot of builders that you're dealing with. You're living in Blackpool, so what is that, like a 40-minute drive, is it?
Oh, it's about an hour and 10.
About an hour and 10.
On a good day, I can do the drive in an hour and 10 minutes.
Where's your office?
In Liverpool, Columbus Quay.
Okay, so you're having to drive there to work?
Yeah. I go there every day.
Wow.
So it's about an hour and 10 to an hour and a half. If traffic's bad, 3 hours.
And a lot of your rent to rent in Liverpool, they are serviced accommodation apartments.
All our serviced accommodation.
But a lot of people would think there's no money to be made with serviced accommodation in Liverpool because it's not a massive tourist area.
That's where they'd be wrong.
Tell me about that. Who are your guests?
So we mainly go for contractors. We don't target the staycations like where they're coming for a weekend.
Yeah.
That's not our specific target. Our specific demographic is contractors, people moving house that need somewhere to just exchange.
Relocations,
relocations, but it's predominantly contractors because of the amount of contractors that are in the area. But you also have the tourists anyway, because there's so many people that come to Liverpool for a weekend, they'll come for a night out, there's so much to do in Liverpool, tourist-wise, it just makes sense, like Beatles and everything like that. So there is a heavy tourist market there.
Okay. So a lot of people might assume an area might not work for serviced accommodation, but actually there's contractors, business professionals, relocators and tourists, so it's not just seaside resorts that work.
Anywhere will work. Realistically, I find that as long as you know the clientele is going to be in the area, it doesn't matter where it is. Unless you're targeting specifically like Airbnb, Booking.com, them sort of stays, then look for your town centres and your touristy areas.
Yeah.
But if you're targeting contractors and people that need to stay somewhere as they're exchanging on a house, working professionals, travelling businessmen, women, all of that, it doesn't really matter. As long as there's going to be a lot of business in that area, or there's contractors that you know of in that area, go to that area.
I think it's as well about knowing your marketplace, isn't it?
Yeah,
doing due
research.
diligence, knowing your area. What would you've sent or you're about to send your new members of staff onto our rent-to-rent training?
Yeah.
Which is crazy because normally people that come to our paid for courses are normally entrepreneurs like yourself. But you're actually sending your staff on the training. What made you decide to do that?
Because there's no one else, in my mind, there's no one else out there better to teach them.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. That's a compliment.
There's nobody, there's not a property trainer out there, there's not a university out there, there's not a college. There is nowhere that I could possibly think of where they would get a better education for what we need than sending them to you.
And you've done a lot of research. I know before you paid for our training, you did a lot of researching.
Yeah, I spent like 3 years watching you before I even took the plunge.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of research. It's just like, obviously I've seen you through everything, all the stuff that you've gone through, and like I know that you're a decent guy, like from watching, well, more than a decent guy for everything that you've done for everybody, but there's just, that's what I'm saying, there's no one else that I'd send the staff to at all.
Well, you know they're going to get looked after.
Exactly.
What would you say to your 5-year younger self that was...
I'd bitch slap him. I'd bitch slap him.
What would you say? So you meet yourself from 5-6 years ago when you were doing drugs and totally living a crazy life.
I'd say I'd bitch slap him hard, but then I don't know if I'd have taken the steps into entrepreneurship. If I hadn't done that, I don't know if I would have.
So everything that happened in a way kind of has helped make you the person that you are today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, massively. But definitely would have a firm word, like, not the drugs, I don't even entertain taking them.
Yeah.
Don't entertain selling them. But in the same breath, are they the reason that I am the person that I am today? So, it's sort of...
And what is your goal then for the future?
I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a property billionaire. Most people sit there and tell me I'm mad and laugh at me, and obviously I laugh when they do, but I'm not bothered. Like, that's the target that I want to get to. I don't even want to be a billionaire. I want to be a multi-billionaire. I don't want to have to worry about anything in my life ever again. I don't want my children to have to worry, their children. I want to retire my whole family. That is the aim, to look after everybody.
And you've got 2 kids.
I've got 2 kids.
Aged how old?
7 and 3.
7 and 3.
Yeah, 2 little girls.
And you want to be able to just make as much money as you possibly can to be able to leave generational wealth.
Yeah.
And what's the strategy then? So at the moment you're doing deal sourcing and rent to rents, which is a great strategy to get started and to get cash flow, but to become, a multi-millionaire or even a billionaire, probably you're going to need to step up with strategy.
Yes.
So what strategies are you looking at?
So it's using the rent to rents. The aim is we want to take 100 units on over the next 12 months. So obviously, as you know, cash flow is king. So we've got the cash flow coming from the sourcing side, and we'd have the cash flow coming from that. We want to take that then into investing into like rent to rents, not rent to rents, BRRs, land developments, and just things like that to give us that stepping stone up. Build a portfolio, get the experience of doing developments and things behind us, and the end goal would be to go in for a fund. So we want to be able to invest into the market using other people's money, kind of exactly the same as what Grant Cardone's got, because that's the way I see us hitting that billion mark quicker, because that way you're not messing about buying 1, 2, 3 units at a time or 30, 40 units at a time. It's a case of, right, I'm just going to buy these 500 units.
And it's so funny because what we talked about when you came to my house at the Discovery Day, get fast pound, active income, and then systemise, and then put that cash flow, put that fast pound into something more slow pound, and you're doing it, man.
Yeah, you need to. Doing it. I think you need to have, and obviously it's come from you, learning from you as well. You need that, the cash flow coming in now, and then you also need that pipeline slow burner as well.
Exactly.
Because it's your pipeline slow burner that'll make you the money. That will get you financially free and give you the money to invest. Yeah. And then the slow burners are what will start to make you your money. And grow.
Security, and it's building your capital appreciation and your net worth and that sort of stuff. But consider all you've done in the last, 8 months?
Yeah.
When did you get started? Beginning of 2021?
Well, actually taking it seriously beginning of this year. The business has been set up since last year, since the first lockdown occurred. Yeah. But with all the market shutting down and agents were shut at the time and stuff, I really procrastinated. I was like, there was no networking events on, so I was like, how am I going to find investors? Yeah. What am I going to do? And then I was making bollocks excuses for myself, basically. It's just pure excuses. And then come the start of this year, I was like, right, enough of the excuses, just do it.
And another thing I think as well is so important, accountability.
Yeah, you have
having
to.
people around you that can pull you up and, oh, what are you doing? And
Yeah.
people that aren't afraid to call you a pussy when you're being a pussy.
You need it. You genuinely need it. I don't see the point in wrapping people up in cotton wool and like, for me, this is what causes the snowflake generation. Sometimes I think if you're being a dick, you need to be told you're being a dick. If you need to pull your finger out, you need to be told you pull your finger out. Not like, well, I think you could have done this a little bit better that way. Like, no, that's crap. You do it this way.
And that's what I said to you at this group. I was just like, what you're doing is terrible.
Yeah.
It's not working. This is how you need to do it instead.
Yep.
And I think you do need that. And I told you at the time, I said, you're coachable.
Yep.
Which is why I can say this. I can speak like this because some people I would be a little bit less direct with. But what you've done is incredible. What's the what's the thing that keeps you going then? Because I know there's tough times. I know you've even been on the phone to us on 365 and you've had to walk away from deals and things have gone badly.
Oh yeah, of course we've had to refund, we've walked away from deals. It's just, we've had a few hiccups along the way, but it's just whether your drive's big enough. Like for me, my children and my drive.
That's what keeps you going.
That's what keeps me going. Them, and wanting to give them a better life.
Yeah.
And wanting to provide for my family, like my mum. Badly, really, really badly do I want to retire her because her health's not great. She goes to work day in, day out. She works ridiculous hours. She works for Kirkham Prison. So like her health is not great. And she struggles. She works 40 hours a week and still struggles with money. So for me, massively, one of the first things I want to do is I want to get her a house and get her looked after and settled off. So she's not having to do that.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the priorities. And then from there, my children, my dad, my sisters.
Yeah.
Like with the minute we're looking at actually building a house in Morecambe on a piece of land that we've been given on an option.
Amazing, well done.
But we want to build that for my sister.
Yeah.
So we're just in the process of going through whether it's going to be viable or not, basically.
Big things though.
Yeah, but big things. And it's just, that's the goal. It's my family, more than anything. Looking after them and making sure they're okay.
And I think it's so important to have that strong reason. For some people, it might be, charity, church, passion.
Charity as well. Like for me, massively, I would love. So like things that you've done. I'd love to go over to Africa or anything like that. Build houses, help out there.
Yeah.
Give money back. For me, I want to do a lot with the homeless as well across the UK because I just don't think there's enough done for them. Like some of these people are homeless through genuine reasons that's out of their control. Or we've got like homeless vets. For me, I'd like to be able to provide places for them that they can live for a while, get themselves back on their feet, get an address, maybe if they need to claim the benefits, so they've got that so they can go back to work or they've got an address to go to work.
Yeah.
Just to give them, because I feel like some people are just that one little helping push away from getting to where they need to get to.
Yeah.
And for me, I massively want to do that. If I can help as many people as I can, perfect.
That's great. Well, you've done really well, and it's been a real honour to work with you. And I hope. What's the experience been like working with me on Samuel 365 and all of the stuff you've been doing? How's it been?
Mate, it's amazing. I can't recommend. Like I say, I can't recommend you and what you teach enough. Like, obviously, like I said to you before, it's through my hard graft, yes. But if you hadn't put the content out there that you'd put out there, I wouldn't be where I am now, because anybody else doesn't put free content out on YouTube like you do. It's £2,000, £3,000, £5,000 and you can come find this little bit of information out. Whereas you give more away on YouTube than these paid courses do.
Yeah.
Which is, so...
Yeah, I mean, I put out a lot for free, and that's what kind of opened up your mind initially.
Yes, massively.
What's the difference between the free training that I put out and the paid for, because you've done both?
So the free training, unless you physically go out there and research everything afterwards that you spoke about, it will give you enough information to understand how to do it, but not enough to be able to actually go and...
Like the support and that sort of stuff.
You sort of become an educated idiot with it. So you could do it, no problem, but you will need to go and do a bit more education.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do the paid training, it just gives you that extra push, that extra help.
Yeah.
It's there, whereas you've got the knowledge that you need. The YouTube is there, it will educate you, but there will be things that you'll come up against that aren't on YouTube that you need to know. Sure,
and also as well, like you paid £500 to come and spend a day, but you don't have to do that.
No.
Like Samuel 365 is £95 a month, and you've got unlimited support.
Yeah, and it's still crazy value for money that. Like, you've got the 2 free courses on there that you've given, the DFE and the Never Use Your Own Money Again. Then you've got we've got the weekly coaching calls. Then you've got the mentoring calls that you can book in whenever you need it. Like that mentor, I'd pay £95 a month just for that mentoring. Just for them mentoring calls, I'd happily pay that £95 a month.
Yeah.
Just for that. Because
But it's been great having you in the community as well and being able to support you because, I mean, seeing from where you were, you know, not that many years ago, living in hostels, on drugs, and now, you know, employing people, helping investors, making the world a better place, becoming wealthy, helping your family and hopefully more and more people across the world and homeless, and it's absolutely fabulous. So what would be your best piece of advice to someone watching this that's thinking, I want to follow in your footsteps, how do I do this?
Just go out there and take action. Take action, educate yourself, and just keep going. It doesn't matter, you will hit failures. Your failures are what are going to make you. There will be times where you fail, but it's never a failure, it's just a learning experience.
Yeah.
And like for me, I like to think that I show that it doesn't matter where you are or where you come from in life, like, because I'm a council estate lad through and through. It doesn't matter where you come from in life, you can produce the life that you want to produce for yourself.
Yeah.
With the right education and stuff. You
So
just
true.
have to find out.
And I think as well, it's easy to judge people from where they've been, but actually it doesn't matter where you've been, it matters where you're going.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's awesome. Well, hey, massive congrats.
Thank you.
And it's been a real pleasure. I look forward to seeing you continue to smash your goals in property going forward.
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
So there we have it, folks. That's Josh. What an incredible story, from hostels and drugs and being a chef to then getting into property, becoming financially free through rent-to-rents, deal sourcing, employing people. If you're inspired by that video, then please do leave a comment below, smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And I do videos like this every single week. Every week I interview one of my students who's smashing it in property. And if you want to see the entire playlist, I've been doing this for almost 3 years now, you can see the entire playlist of all the success students up here. Don't forget to subscribe over here. And if you want to become a Samuel 365 member, I'm giving away a free 7-day trial for just £1. So I'll leave the description details below and see you guys next time.